Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Kansas City jazz saxophonist and educator Dan Thomas. We caught up about his involvement in the Charlie Parker celebration for 2018, a new album that is on the horizon, and how the future is looking. He delved into all of this and a bit more. He will be having a concert on September 2nd, 2018 at White Theater on the campus of the Jewish Community Center. You can get tickets at thewhitetheater.org. We talk about this and so much more. Please dig this interview. Dan, it's great to catch back up with you. I think it was March that we talked.
I think so. Yeah.
So let's talk about what's going on. You got a lot of action going on. You got a new CD coming out, the Charlie Parker Week. There's just action all over the place. Talk to me about what's going on.
Tomorrow morning we will be doing a celebration of Bird at the Bowl. We'll be across the street from BAC Horn Doctor at 12th and Vine. That guy's just done immense things for the Jazz Studies idiom and instrument manufacturing. Is just a huge supporter of music education, in particular, and jazz studies. We'll have folks coming as part of the history tour. 40 to 50 folks will be traveling in on a bus, post doing a tour of 18th and Vine, and they'll come have some lunch, kind of hear a little bit from the city about development opportunities that are going on down there, and then they'll hop back on a bus and go. We're doing 2 sets. The ensemble will be myself, Clint Ashlock, Justin Binnick, who's just been in town for about a year, but is a very fine piano player and vocalist. Forrest Stewart and Michael Warren, and Tavon Pennicott will be joining us as well. And then we will be doing a musical salute to Bird, at the conclusion of that concert, and we've got about 45 musicians, maybe more, who will be coming and will be kind of second lining out to a particular spot and just doing a dedication to Charlie Parker. So it's a very exciting opportunity tomorrow for us to kind of honor Bird in the right way.
Sure. The thing that always gets me is, I always remember Terry Gibbs saying that Charlie Parker had to have come here from a UFO and just got dropped on this planet. We as a city, we're really good about honoring and celebrating him, and I know this is a rhetorical question, but my question is this: why will Bird last forever?
That's a great question. I mean, I think that ultimately, he really helped shape the modern, improvised language, modern sensibilities for harmony.
Yeah.
That's really the deal. He used so much harmonic language over such a short period of time that was just brand new.
Yeah.
And everybody's been chasing the Bird ever since. Copy a phrase, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't go around that.
No. And the thing that's interesting about Bird is, and Steve Coleman, I talked to him earlier on this week, he said, and I've always heard this, what he was doing at the time was underground. Totally underground. Like we think right now it's such a part of the jazz language. People weren't embracing it at the time. He was doing something. So my question is this: when we talk about the modern realm of music, what's underground right now? What's chasing Bird? What's really chasing Bird, the jazz world?
Following or chasing? Because the chasing aspect is in pursuit of what he was doing, right? And then the following aspect is kind of, I always talk about curation and innovation.
Yeah.
And I think we have a responsibility to do both.
Yeah.
So again, you can't go around bebop.
Right.
Because bebop happened.
Yeah.
Swing happened. You can't really, blues happened. You can't go around those things and start here.
Right.
So whether or not that you've got, some Bird sensibilities as you're working on your, advanced patterns or whatever.
Yeah.
The chances are it's just a development of, theory and harmony, laying on that foundation.
Yeah.
And his foundation, I think, was the most impactful foundation.
Yeah.
The following Bird aspect, I don't know necessarily.
Yeah.
I think that folks, again, as you develop your own sound, and but you can't skip it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to go. So let's talk about new recordings and what's happening that's new. You have a new album coming out.
I do. The album is 2 bands. One is my band Voyage.
Yeah.
A couple of those guys contributed. Well, actually, all the guys contributed a track to the record.
Yeah.
And that's Michael Warren, Forrest Stewart, myself, and Wayne Hawkins. The other ensemble is Curtis Lundy, Richard Johnson, Bobby Watson,
Yeah.
myself, and Michael Warren. And so Mike's on both, and it's a full CD. Like
Yeah.
it's literally there's no room for another track.
Yeah.
It's a full CD, all original music except we're reinterpreting one of Chick Corea's children's songs that he wrote a little piano book, and so we're doing that with a loop station, and then kind of expand to the full ensemble, and then we come back to it. It's pretty slick. In fact, Chick gave us major props because we actually sent him the track, and he's quite excited about it.
Very cool. Very cool. So when is all this coming out?
The CD should be out, I would imagine, this fall.
Okay.
Coming up soon.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
So, the expectation is that we get that out and look for a proper place to promote and do the thing, and then, book some gigs and travel with it. All good.
So you've been at this for a long time. Do you still get the jitterbugs before the CD's released? I mean, is it just as exciting as it was in the beginning?
Everything's exciting. It's nice to kind of, button up and have the disc in packaging and, just sell it.
Yeah.
But I think the reality at least for me, but I know a lot of musicians, obviously, and we all feel the same way. There's still an anticipation and an excitement of the unknown of stepping on stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing, is like stepping on stage and performing. There's an anticipation and an excitement. I think that when we're younger, that manifests itself, or we describe it as fear and nerves. Yeah. And as we get older, we start to realize that we've been through it, and we just get better at dealing with it, and we can relabel it as something else, but it's still kind of the same thing. I mean, I used to get into war paint for like 2 days before a gig, where it was just like, leave me alone, game face, mental, and now it's all good, man. I hang out with the cats. And,
it's wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom. So what else is going on? What's the future looking like for you?
I've got quite a few jazz festival opportunities coming up over the next 12 months or more, and I'll be doing a lot of travel and playing, and I'm mentoring still plenty of folks. So I'll maintain my life of service. I mean, I'm in the service industry in performance. I'm in the service industry in and that service industry is writing checks and making sure musicians are paid properly and that sort of thing, right?
Sure.
If they're working with me, they're going to be treated well.
Yeah.
And then the service industry of promoting the art form in educational settings, and writing and arranging, and being around for folks who need to talk and that sort of thing. So next Sunday on the 2nd, we will be doing a show at the White Theatre in Overland Park. It's right almost across the street from Bristol and Town Centre.
Yeah.
And that's from 3 to 5, and we're going to be kind of reinterpreting and playing some of Cannonball's Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
And then we'll be playing stuff off the new record as well.
Cool.
And that ensemble will be Justin Binnick's joining us, Clint Ashlock, myself, Bobby Watson, Forrest Stewart, and Mike Warren.
Right on.
And that band is just dynamite. So it'll be a blast.
Cool.
We're all very excited about it.
So we talked 4 months ago. Let's say we talk 5 years from now, or a few years from now. What are you going to want to talk to me about?
I suspect it's going to be futures-based always, right? I mean, I'm proud of my past, but you have to be scanning forward.
Yeah.
So eyes wide open.
Yeah.
Opportunities that abound, and that's it.
Yeah.
And hopefully, continued maintenance and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Dan, thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. It's always good to see you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to yet another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Canada, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Dan for his time and devotion to Kansas City Jazz. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.